Right now on Up with KREM, Coeur d'Alene school district leaders are meeting today to discuss changes to their COVID-19 protocols after doctors are asking for a mask mandate.
And we're going to take you outside. Here we sit just 10 minutes from sunrise, and it's going to be a beautiful Friday.
Governor Jay Inslee announcing the extension of the eviction moratorium in Washington.
We think it's a reasonable position. It's been hard on everyone, and we're looking forward to a more stable situation.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, taking a live look at Coeur d'Alene this morning because today the Coeur d'Alene Public School District Board is holding a special meeting. Good morning and thanks for joining us on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
Glad to have you here with us. I'm Tim Pham. For the second time this week, school leaders will discuss COVID-19 protocols. Right now, school leaders are considering two changes to help slow the spread of COVID in schools. The first change requires staff and students and visitors to wear a mask on a temporary basis. Currently, masks are not required but recommended in the district. Second, they hope to clarify the language for the district's quarantine requirements.
So today's meeting comes in response to local pediatricians seeing a surge in COVID cases in kids. Some Kootenai Health staff members wrote a letter to the district asking them to make mask wearing mandatory.
I think a lot of parents and school board officials are saying, well, that's not me. That's not our house. That's not our home. And it is, you know, and that's what makes us sad and scared because it doesn't need to be this way. And the more we team up and the more we mask up and the more we vaccinate those who are eligible, hopefully the sooner we can get back to that normal that we all desperately want.
Yesterday, the district reported that 25 employees and 156 students are out with COVID-19, and more than 400 students and 40 employees are in quarantine at home pending COVID test results.
The meeting is today at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the Midtown Meeting Center. You can watch it live on KREM.com or inside the KREM 2 app. Another big story, we're tracking relief for tenants in Washington who are struggling to pay their rent, but some frustration from landlords.
Now, Governor Jay Inslee is extending the state's eviction moratorium to October 31st.
We think it's a reasonable position. It's been hard on everyone, and we're looking forward to a more stable situation.
Now, Governor Inslee says the moratorium gives counties more time to distribute much needed rental assistance to tenants. Another big announcement from the governor, he will not be extending the deadline for state employees to get vaccinated. The deadline for those workers to get their vaccine is October 18th, and that means 2 weeks after your second shot.
6:33 on a Friday morning. Let's get to Jeremy for the first full weekend of fall forecast.
Yes.
First fall weekend forecast, here it is. Let's dish it up because it's going to feel a lot more like summer than it does like fall. And yes, this arrives just in time for the weekend. And well, yesterday I got a call from another meteorologist here in the building, and he said, hey, do you want to go golfing this weekend? And I said, absolutely. I will book us a tee time. So I picked up the phone and I called every golf course in Spokane and the surrounding area, and I'm here to tell you there is not a single tee time. So I called him back. I said, hey man, no tee times available at any course anywhere. And he said, this is on us. We should have forecasted rain and then gotten out and enjoyed the golf weather. So there you go. If you're making a tee time, I'm sorry, but this weekend really favors a golf-like weekend. Today's sunrise, here we sit just 5 minutes away from it, happens at 6:39, sits at 6:42, but the reason this graphic is important is because this is our last day with more daylight than darkness. So even though we've got a warm weekend ahead, it's darker than it is lighter, if that makes sense. Temperatures in the mid to upper 40s this morning in Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, and Moses Lake. 39 in Sandpoint and 53 in Wenatchee. Nothing but clear skies overhead, and that's how we head through the day. You might see a cloud or two, but hey, if you see it, wave at it, because there won't be many. Later on this afternoon, temps in the upper 70s, knocking on the door of 80, and all weekend long, it's temps near 80 with ample sun.
All right, it is time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Well, a judge granted Planned Parenthood a permanent injunction against a church. This means the group can't interfere with patient access to health care. The anti-abortion group has been famous for loud demonstrations outside of their facilities. Planned Parenthood filed that motion back in July, asking them to make the injunction permanent. The group pushed back, saying that they were demonstrating their First Amendment rights and protecting the unborn. However, Washington law prohibits willfully or recklessly disrupting the normal functioning of a healthcare facility.
A COVID-19 outbreak is being reported at a nursing center in Colville. Pinewood Terrace Nursing Center is reporting 74 new cases and 5 deaths. The first case was reported on August 25th. 22 staff members and 52 residents were infected. 33 of those individuals were fully vaccinated. According to Northeast Tri-County Health District, one of the people who died was also fully vaccinated. They say that age, gender, nor demographics doesn't shield you from the severity of the virus.
Spokane City leaders are considering the South Hill for a new water tower, and they're calling the area the most viable option. It would be a place next to Hamlin Elementary School. Neighbors say this is an eyesore and is a danger to kids, but the city says it's desperately needed.
My biggest concern is of the impact on the children who go to school here, but even more so on the loss of the natural environment.
It is a needed tank in the system to provide for fire flow and drinking water to the system, but we appreciate the community coming out tonight. This is part of our community engagement process.
The city says a decision could be made about the water tower as early as this fall. Oh, sounds like a lot of fun and looks so tasty. The annual Spokane Greek Food Festival has begun. The 85th annual event is hosted by the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church. The festival will be open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. through Sunday. Church tours will also be held daily at 12:30, 4, and 6 p.m. That's your Morning Rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media.
A federal arrest warrant is issued for Brian Laundrie, the fiance of Gabby Petito, who was found dead in Grand Teton on Sunday. Now, Gabby's death has been ruled a homicide after she disappeared during a cross-country trip with Laundrie. Court documents show the grand jury charged Laundrie with intent to defraud using a debit card in the amount of at least $1,000. This happened sometime between August 30th through September. That was before Gabby's disappearance, or after her disappearance rather. Now, she documented her cross-country trip with her fiance through TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube. And as it turns out, social media users may have helped authorities find Gabby. On this week's edition of 48 Hours, we're getting a look inside the case of Gabby Petito and the hunt for Brian Laundrie.
In July 2021, Gabby Petito and her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, began what looked like a romantic adventure full of promise.
I love the van.
Rose Davis, one of Gabby's closest friends, says the couple was in love, but there was also something going on behind the scenes.
I was concerned with them spending that much time together. When I was last seeing them and everything, they were rocky.
On August 12th, Moab, Utah police were dispatched when a 911 caller reported seeing a confrontation between Gabby and Brian.
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It's unclear if officers at the scene were given the details of the 911 call. Gabby never mentioned Brian hitting her, but Brian told police that Gabby attacked him. Police separated them for the night and they continued their journey. Gabby would go missing 2 weeks later. The cross-country journey documented on social media turned into a cross-country virtual search party. The question was, where was Gabby Petito? One van life couple had been paying close attention to Gabby's story, Kyle and Jen Bethune. When Jen saw a post that Gabby and Brian had been in the Tetons in Wyoming on the same night that they had been, she rushed to her computer to view footage of their trip.
And I saw that white speck of van, and I was like, please keep going, please keep going. And it did, and it got bigger and bigger.
We just some reason instantly knew that it was hers.
The Bethunes say they called the FBI and uploaded their footage to the FBI website. The next day came the announcement that everyone had been dreading.
Human remains were discovered.
Gabby's remains had been found a 4-minute walk from where the Bethunes had spotted the van.
Now to watch that full episode of 48 Hours, you can catch it tomorrow on KREM 2 at 10 p.m.
Over the last year, COVID surges have come and gone. Coming up in our next hour of Up with KREM, we look into how vaccines can smooth the waves of COVID cases.
And we're talking a changing weather pattern as we head into the weekend. That means a few days of, well, nothing but sunshine and warm temperatures before it all changes. I'll walk you through that change after the break.